Hello and welcome to the Bias Bounty 101 for Beginners video tutorial series. My name is Christy Arbogast and I'm a fellow at Humane Intelligence. If you are eager to get into the world of AI auditing but don't know where to start, then join me as a fellow beginner as we learn together. In this tutorial, I will cover where to access information about Humane Intelligence's Bias Bounty Challenge, how to download the challenge datasets, and how to import the data into a Jupyter notebook. By the end of this video, you'll be up and running and ready to start inspecting the data. We're going to start on the Humane Intelligence website to review the current Bias Bounty Challenge and what the different prompts are. If you go down here into the details sections, you will see the link to the datasets as well as descriptions of what the 3 different datasets are that you can choose to use for this challenge. If you click on the link here, it will take you to our GitHub repository. With any GitHub repository where datasets and code are stored, it's important to review the README doc. Here we see there's an overview of the 3 different datasets. We can see how each dataset is described, what is unique to each dataset, as well as an overview of the variables and types present that are in every dataset. Decide on which of the 3 datasets you'd like to work with for this challenge. Now, before we download the dataset, let's think about how we can even view it. As we know, the file will be really large with up to almost 20,000 rows of data. The most common and user-friendly way to view datasets like this is to use what is called a Jupyter notebook. This is an open source application that allows you to create a notebook where you can run code, draft explanatory text, and create visualizations. If you use Google's Workspace, you can create a Jupyter notebook using Google Colab, which is one of Google's apps. If you go to your Google Drive, click New, go to More, and then select Google Colab. If it's not listed there, then go to Connect More Apps and search for it there. I've already created my own notebook with text explanations since I'll be sharing the link with you all at the end of this tutorial. But before we can bring in our dataset to explore, we first need to tell the notebook what parts of the Python coding language we need to use to better read the data. These add-on parts are often called libraries, and the most common Python library for data analysis is called pandas. Let's import the pandas library down here in step 2 by writing import pandas as PD. The PD is an alias for pandas to save you from typing pandas out every single time. It's considered best practice to always have these import statements at the top of your notebook so that they are running during all of your subsequent code. Now we're going to move down to step 3, accessing the dataset. So there's 2 different options on how you can do this. You can either download the zip file from GitHub to your computer, or you can pass the URL into your notebook using additional Python libraries. I'm going to show you both methods. So I will be using the Factuality dataset for this tutorial. So I go back to our GitHub and click Factuality zip file, and then I go over here and download the raw file. This will download the zip file, which you then need to unzip and then add to your Google Drive. Running the following command here in step 3.1 will mount your Google Drive. Then we need to use the following pandas function, pd read CSV, to tell it where our CSV file is and to read it. And then we will store it as a variable that we will call Factuality df. The df stands for data frame, and this is how pandas will reference our data set going forward. Now, if you'd rather not download the file and take up space in your Google Drive, you can access the zip file through using its URL. But first you need to import a few special Python libraries to do so, which I outline down here in step 3.2. These are the various Python libraries and modules that you will need to import to be able to access the zip file through URL. So run this statement here. And you can read the documentation about what each of these libraries do and how you can use the various functions within them. So once you do that, you can use this code that I've drafted here, which places the URL from our GitHub repository and then tells it to get that URL, and then it tells it to open it and save it as a file. Now that we have access to our dataset using one of these methods, let's make sure it actually worked. Here's a useful Python function to quickly see the first few rows in a dataset. So now let's run that and see if it worked. Success! All right, well, we have reached the end of this tutorial. Just a reminder that this is the first video in a series, and we'll be posting the remaining videos in the days ahead. All videos will be hosted on the Humane Intelligence website under Resources. See you next time.